And welcome to BYC Commentary. This is BC, and I got YC with me, so we got the whole game with us today.
Yo,
YC, I know we hadn't talked in a while, but what's going on with the world?
a lot of crazy stuff. Shootings, like everything that can go wrong is going wrong right now.
Oh, the whole world's collapsed? No, I don't think it's that dramatic, but
Well, China censoring Winnie the Pooh, so that's world coming to an end right there. So,
what? They're censoring Winnie the Pooh. What? What are you talking about?
well, China, well, you know how they have a regime there, and this is kind of an old topic, but it's kind of coming up back up now, where uh, the guy who is in charge, I think the president of China right now, he's kind of cracking down
Yeah,
on banning Winnie the Pooh.
dictator, they're communists.
Yeah,
Yeah, but go ahead.
but he's cracking down on Winnie the Pooh because people were memeing him into being like Winnie the Pooh and like fixing the video, doing that. So yeah, thing
Ooh,
is he's not happy. So yeah,
but Winnie the Pooh is cute.
I don't think he sees it that way. I think he just sees a fat teddy bear, and he doesn't like being called a fat teddy bear.
Oh well, girls love it.
I don't know about them China girls.
Oh, well, I don't know. You mean Chinese girls?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I guess when they're a dictator, he does what he wants.
yeah, and nobody's stopping him. So
Yeah, but yeah, when you say about the world and how crazy it is, that is ridiculous. Now with censoring Winnie the Pooh, but there's other crazy things out there like North Korea censoring almost everything that he doesn't want you to hear. And then, now not as dramatic, but we're having problems here, our own country
yep.
at this point. It's hard to fight right at this point the shooting in Birmingham. I'm sure you've
Yeah,
heard about that. I'm sure
yes,
everybody else has heard about it. It's starting to be all over their news. But I'm just gonna show you all this. Tell me if you can see it, YC.
yep, I see it.
All right, so let's just listen to
Just
this.
about 10 o'clock on Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, when police originally said that 21-year-old E.J. Bradford was involved in an altercation that led to the shooting of an 18-year-old male and a 12-year-old female bystander. But over the weekend, that story dramatically changed. And now police here in Hoover, Alabama, just south of Birmingham, say they do not believe that it's likely that Bradford fired those shots at all and that the shooter is still here on the loose. Now, Hoover police released a new statement here this morning saying that they're extending their condolences and their thoughts and prayers to the family of E.J. Bradford. But they also say that they have clear evidence that suggests that Bradford brandished a weapon in the seconds after the shooting erupted there inside the mall, and that led to that chaotic situation.
We're so sorry for your loss and how it had to happen this way and how you had to find out.
See, what's your thoughts there, YC?
Well, being a black guy myself, it's kind of bad. You're going out to have fun. I think it was at Dave and Buster's, and it just opened up, and then like, bam, you die. Going playing video games or hanging out. Yeah, I think that's kind of messed up. And the fact that they kind of shot the wrong guy is like even more like disturbing, and can't really bring him back. So I don't know, man. It's messed up.
When I heard about the shooting, the first thing I thought of was it even the right guy? I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, I wanted to do a recording here before this actual news came out that they shot the wrong guy, because I'll tell you, one of my friends was actually at the mall and actually witnessed some of the shooting. Well, I take that back. He didn't actually witness the shooting. He just witnessed a lot of them running away. Um, but no, what he told me was there was, you know, the gentleman that actually got shot, but then there was an actual gun that they couldn't find that actually belonged to somebody. They couldn't find the actual person that actually that gun belonged to. So what his perspective to me was, he said, well, the guy was holding a gun. Yes, he shouldn't have, because he does have his own license, but you really shouldn't be carrying a concealed weapon into a mall. And he might have one out there, but at the same time is there's another gun, and there was other people that had guns too. And he got shot, and what he told me, he said, well, they don't really know if it's actually him. Police officer saw him with a gun and he shot him. And what was said was that he didn't really warn him anything. It was off-duty cop. Didn't warn him, just saw him with a gun and shot him. I mean, we say it's bad, and it is. I mean, you shot the wrong guy. And I just don't know about the police department. Their training, their skills. I don't know about it. I don't know if it's perfect. It's not, because you're supposed to go through some lines to see if you got the right person.
Yeah, I don't know how to say this. It's just kind of, I know you have to take steps in order to prevent like more casualties and things like that when people, dealing with like shootings and things like that. But I don't know. It kind of makes it hard.
Why not shoot him in the arm or shoot him on the leg and then have I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'll tell you this. I'm not. I'm Asian. I've seen a lot of Asian movies, a lot of cop movies, and I was gonna say it this way, in other countries, and I'll just say China-wise, these movies, and it's movies, but they represent real things, just like movies that we have here that's talking about crimes and stuff. Well, the way they do it is they don't just come out and shooting. They come out and try to read these people's rights and say, hey, put their gun down. And this guy don't put his gun down, then it's not the right, he's there is a problem there. But you don't just go out and straight out and just shoot a guy. And I'll just tell you this, if they come out and straight shoot the guy, the police officer will probably lose his job, because first of all, was it the right guy? You didn't read him his rights. You gotta read him his rights. You gotta see if it's the right guy. Did he actually shoot? Did he see him shoot somebody? Because you can't just go out and start shooting people. I mean, it's the same concept as, this is a long time ago when the little kid was actually holding a play gun and got shot by a police officer. I can't exactly remember. That was back when I was a kid. Got shot by a police officer because he was holding a play gun, and police officer thought it was an actual gun, and all it did was make sounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's dangerous. I know there's a fine line, but the fact is, we gotta train these. If this is what's happening, and there's more than this happening actually somewhere else, and multiple occasion that they're just shooting people, we gotta make it where it's more. I don't know. It seems like to me the police department needs to be more trained.
Yeah, I think they kind of on edge now with all the mass shootings going on and everything, so they kind of just on the shoot first and then ask questions later kind of mindset. But I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's, but you can't do that. I mean, you're literally killing innocent people. I mean, that literally was an innocent, guy, and military, if not be said too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I see why people are mad, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, to me, that's my opinion. We got to train. Look, you got to think about it. Most of these police officers, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying, well, these police officers are what? Are dropped out high school students that, didn't go to college, didn't get the highest education. This is, they're not getting paid a lot either to be more in their education, in their training, and then it's just not one of those higher salaries, just like teachers. But, they're a very important place in our society. But at the same time, if they're not highly educated, so well, how do we know if they have the ethics that we need them to have?
Well, you can't really judge. I mean, let's be honest. You can't really judge like not finishing high school off being smart, because there are plenty of people who like are smart who dropped
No,
out of high school.
I agree. But the fact is, if you don't have full education, when we say education, we're talking about when you learn what to do is right. You learn what is I mean that's something wrong with a little bit of our education too. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. But the
can't really
fact for education you need to be educated.
yeah, you can't really teach ethics in school either. I mean, you kind of like supposed to learn
Well,
it at home. Like, okay, don't do this, don't do that.
that's
Like,
because our school don't teach it. But there's ways of other countries that teach ethics and do it very well.
yeah,
And we don't do it here. But I'm just saying, like, they teach it they're supposed to teach it in the police department. So I went through the train back when I was in high school. I went through those little gathered training thing for police officers. I wanted to do like more of just something to do over the summer. And you are taught that. You are taught what to do next, and all this stuff. But are they still doing that at the level they want them to be done, or it should be done? And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm not saying that people are drop out in high school, they're not smart. I'm just saying that the majority is not where we want them to be. That we needed them to be more educated, and that just means that they need to be more. If they're not going to be educated in high school, they need to be very educated in the law enforcement, because
yeah,
something's wrong.
yeah. I'm not sure.
I
Do
mean,
they?
it needs to be paid almost like a 4-year degree to be in the in the police department. That's what it really needs to be.
Oh well,
That's
they're
my.
not gonna go that far.
I would say that far. I
Yeah,
say. I mean, that's just like you going. That's just like you going into your 4 years degree, and if you straight out of in high school, and you're telling someone, hey, go run a business, or do your the numbers, and you don't know anything about anything. I mean,
well,
we're having that education problem now. Is that we're doing we do 2 years of actually learning something, but when we actually get out, we don't actually know that much of what we learned to do our own job because we don't apply it. We have that problem now. But I'm
well,
just saying, if we're having a problem with 4 years of education in college, what makes the sense of you don't have any education in college and then you're going straight to a job, like a very dangerous job, may I add, like the police department, that you deal with life and death every day.
and I think that's why. I mean,
That's
they
what I'm
kind
saying.
of you have to live in a
It's not training.
you in a high paced job. I mean, a high paced job, and I mean, I guess you always police. I mean, you can kind of scoot by on not having people working on computers and things like that, but you always need somebody to uphold the law. But I do agree that they need to do more ethics training or something like that,
Let me just
where
let me
you
just put it this way:
get
if
that out.
it was statistics, the person that actually finished college is going to be more trustworthy than the person that didn't finish college and and just finished high school.
Well, that depends on the
Would you
job.
disagree?
Well, I think that depends on the job. Like, I'm not gonna give
No,
somebody.
I'm not just saying depending on a job. I'm talking about like, I'm not saying just depending on a job. I'm saying depending on person, like ethic wise. The person that finishes college and the person that finishes just high school. And I'm talking about the majority now. I'm just talking about person to person. It does depend on person to person, but I'm saying the majority. There's more trust in college folks than actually high school, that you just finished high school.
Yeah, but
Because
yeah,
look, most of the people that only finish in high school, they usually end up where? Working for what? McDonald's, Walmart, and And I'm not saying anything about it. If they're working, then they're trying to make a living of themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that if you're not, you need to get back to education. You need to be doing what's right, and there's always something more and more to learn. And if you're not getting educated, that means you're not getting enough money, and then it leaves you in a bad situation. Then you get a bad situation, you end up doing bad things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corruption everywhere. I'm not just saying in the police department, but I'm just saying the police department get more attention because it deals with life and death. If you got in like accounting and you got in a situation that there's corruption, you got like fraud. You steal money and stuff, but it's not life and death. You get more attention with these life and death situations because you gotta get you. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, this is all it's about. It's being opinion, and not like they're gonna do anything about it. But I don't see what anything else they can do about it besides saying that they need more education. They need more and more strict rules on. They just can't go out there and start killing people. I get it. I get it. If you don't go in there and you're like, if he was the shooter, he could shoot a lot more people if the guy didn't react enough. But it's a 50-50 chance if that person is a shooter or is that person innocent.
Yeah.
You can't just be 50-50 and gamble on somebody's life. You got to know a little bit more than that. Tell the guy, put your gun down.
Yeah, that will start working on warning shots and start shooting people in like the legs or the arms, something where it's not gonna actually like just kill them.
Exactly. I mean that's also an argument. Then they can always argue back and say, well, if I just shoot him in the arm, he still has the gun in the left arm and he can probably still shoot somebody. I get that too. I'm just saying there's gotta be a fine line. I don't know. I mean, I'll be very jacked up if I was a police officer and found out that was an innocent person. Yet I was set up to be a hero at the beginning and then found out the guy was actually innocent. I mean, how does that police officer feel? I know I probably wouldn't live with myself for a long time. I mean, I would have some mental issues. I mean, here's the deal. And here's another funny thing. I keep looking at this picture. Now, I still don't know. Again, we're all talking about he was innocent and he's, and all this stuff. I still don't know. We're all listening about news and news are telling us this. But what gets me crazy here is that just watch this part. Watch the family.
In this way and how you had to find out about this. Mr. Bradford, we here on New Day on Friday reported on this as though the gunman had been shot and killed by police. That's what the police statement said. That's what our police sources said. And then the story changed. And it turned out that your son, your 21-year-old son, who has no criminal record, was the person who was shot and killed, and the gunman is still on the loose. What have police told you about this horrible mistake?
They haven't told me anything yet. Nobody has responded. We hadn't got no calls and no apology. Nothing has been told to us what happened, what transpired, and led up to this point.
Mr. Bradford, the police, in this horrible, tragic case of mistaken identity, have not reached out to you, his family.
No, not at all.
Ms. Pipkins, how do you think, you're holding a picture there of your son. We've seen him. We've seen how handsome he was. Obviously, he went into the Army. He was described by everybody as just being
I just want to point this out. Does this family look kind of dull to you?
Yeah.
I mean, their son just died.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we're all listening about the news here. We really don't know what really went on. You always hear there's three sides of the story. It's their side, your side, and then the actual truth. I don't know what, I mean, I hear the side of the police, I hear the side of the family, but then there's always the truth. I mean, I don't know what the truth is. I don't know, whatever. We're just listening. But I'm just looking at it's kind of weird to me. Look at the smile on the father's face. Like, I don't get it. Like, you should be, I'm not judging anything. I'm just saying, like, as a human being, if anything happened to my son or something like that, I'm going to be devastated. I'm going to be crying. even if I'm a man and I'm, as a man, again, I just got my wife just gave birth to my first baby girl, and I'm just saying the love that I feel for her is just so strong. Like, tears can easily fall, and but look at these guys. I mean, I'm not saying anything. I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, my opinion is that I mean you probably need to take a step back. Don't run to the media because I mean, let's face it, they want you to be crying and doing all that kind of stuff. I think you should probably just like take a step back, process it, and then go to like the media and tell them how you doing. At least wait till after like your son is put in the ground where you can actually like start talking about it openly, not just as soon as your child died and then just run to the media like that's gonna solve something. Like I just think that's just adding fuel to the fire. It's not really helping anything.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is, why aren't they crying?
Well, I mean, chances are they probably don't want to show a weak side of themselves on TV. I mean, I know some people like to go to like to do that. Like they
I
get on
get,
TV and they
I
cry.
get that. But your son just died.
I mean,
Like, you can try it all alone. But if you really feel for your son, I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying that the logical human mind, if you feel for your son or feel for anything that you love so much, that you can't hold it in.
well, first of all, I mean, if my son died, I wouldn't be on TV in the first place.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Because you wouldn't even want to be bothered with the problems that you just want to you really want to do is really want your son back, and all you really want to do is at that point you're just mourning what is happening, and
yeah,
and there's nothing can do about it besides you kind of can get a little mad and frustrated. And the whole point there is just sad. But look at them. Literally.
Full person wanting to help others. How do you
well, I
explain what?
mean, are you sure that the smaller guys, the like the dad, he's not like the brother or something like that? Or I
No,
mean,
either one. He said father. He said, well, your son, and then the mother's in the middle, and then I don't know who the other guy is. But the
okay,
fact, or it could be the brother. It doesn't matter. But all three of them have the same face.
yeah, well, yeah,
Like
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just playing devil's advocate because again, I don't know what the truth is. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong because I'm not there. We're only taking evidence of what people has given us, like the news, and they could be very false. Like we already know that, beginning, but this could be false too, or either vice versa, whatever the real thing is. But the fact is, where's the emotion?
Yeah,
All the emotion I get is after this. Is when they're up around of all these people getting so mad of the police officer because he killed the wrong person, and I believe he probably did. I actually still kind of believe that. Yet I still feel like there's a motive here. I mean, they should be crying. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
listen to the mother. Let's listen to the mother.
They took my son from me, and my Thanksgiving will never be the same. I'll never be able to see my son's face again, or to look into his eyes, or to hear him say, Mom, I love you, Mom, love you, and hug on me and kiss on me, you know. And like his father has said, no one has even
Okay, see,
reached
no,
out.
so that was more right. You see how she's actually trying to hold it in for crying.
yeah,
My Thanksgiving will never be the same
Of
because
course.
this is the you know.
Mr. Crump, this is horrible. I mean, this is just a horrible tragedy, and the idea that the police wouldn't reach out to the family to try to explain themselves, but maybe it's that in the chaotic seconds after a gunman opened fire on shoppers in a crowded mall, they showed up, and I think that what their story is now was that EJ had a gun himself, and they thought that he was brandishing a gun and that he was the gunman. Can it be an innocent case of mistaken identity?
Well, it's awfully ironic that they're asking for this family to give them the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of consideration, Allison, even though they didn't give EJ Bradford the benefit of the doubt and consideration when this off-duty police officer who was doing private security for the Galleria Mall pulled the trigger, we believe, unjustifiably. Several witnesses have reached out to us and said it was in milliseconds. He offered no verbal commands. He didn't say freeze, police, anything. He just saw a young black man with a gun and he shot. Witnesses say
I agree with them. I mean, how are you supposed to ask for forgiveness if you didn't even go and apologize?
Yeah.
I don't that part I don't get. I don't understand why the police officer didn't go and try to apologize. I guess it can still doesn't help any because the family's still going to be mad because you can never bring a human life back. But at the same time, is you gotta try, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't just go up to them and say, "Hey, I'm sorry for killing your son," but that you don't know how that would have happened.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to end up bad, no
And
matter what. But
putting it on TV, making an apology on TV don't seem kind of like right either. I mean, it's
and that's not what they're saying. They're saying, did they even go out and apologize at all? Write a letter, an email, a phone call, whatever. It's not going to do anything, yes, but does it? It does tell you that he is sorry. I don't understand. See, that's the thing what I'm talking about. There's the truth. I mean, there's their side and the police officer side, and then there's their truth. I feel like there's something in the middle that we're not getting enough information that we understand. You see what I'm saying? Maybe there is something that there is a reason why the police officer didn't go. Maybe he has some evidence of something that we don't know about. It's hard to judge this, but at the same time, it's hard to judge because what I just don't see the. I mean, a little while ago, I did see the emotion of the father and the mother when she was talking about it, but it's like I don't see the emotion now. I see more of like, is it revenge? Maybe it's almost like revenge. It's like they want something back, but at the same time, it's like you should be more emotional. I don't get it.
EJ was helping them. A young lady said EJ saved her life and helped several others, reached out to the family. So he was a good guy with a gun. But this notion of good guy with a gun trying to stop the bad guys with guns doing these mass shootings, where if you happen to be
I'm sorry, I
black,
just want to skip this, and I just want to see the emotion, and I just don't see it. I don't get it.
well, I mean, I I don't know. It's just like I said, most people I wouldn't go on TV like bawling my eyes out. Like that's just not my personality. I don't know if that's them, if that's their way of coping too. Like maybe they cried like off camera when they weren't around, but I mean I wouldn't just go get on TV and cry, just show people. I mean my emotional side
Well,
like that, my personal side either.
the thing is, I get that. I get that they're trying not, and they may be super strong human nature, and they know how to do. They can know how to solidly hold in their human nature and hold in the sadness. But naturally, a normal human being cannot when it's if 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 a loved one like that strong, especially if it's a son, if it's beloved son. And I mean, again, I don't know what the family's like. The same hypothetically and psychologically, they shouldn't be able to hold it in. Now, again, it could be where there might be some family issues and stuff like that, and they just can't. So I mean, again, there's a couple perspectives there, and we don't know what the inside of the story really is. But bottom line is, I do still believe that he died. He's not the shooter. I really think he's not the shooter, and he was an innocent person that died, and that's just sad. That's just, I mean, that's again, I go back to saying that there needs to be either more education or more policies or rules within the police department to stop this from happening. I mean, actually give them the dude a warning, or I get the fact is if you give them a warning, then you kind of let yourself off guard and people are going straight to you and shooting. But the fact is that's part of your job. You're risking your life. I get that's part of the job. But you can't just go out and shoot them, because you get this stuff kind of happen, and that's why we need police officers, is to save lives, not take lives.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
just
mean, even why is it, there's a reason why we don't have a prosecution law. There's a lot of states that don't have prosecution laws. So there's some states that still do, but I'm just saying, like, it's because we still precious life. We didn't give you a gun to take life. We gave you it to protect life. I mean, think about that. I mean, the whole point with the gun was to protect life, not to take life. And even if he was the shooter, it's a lot of people you should be trained to actually contain him, not actually kill him. Contain him from killing more. Is what you should be doing. But if it comes to where you had to take life, then do it, because it means that there's gonna be more life taken. But if there's a way that's where you need a training come from. They need to be trained to protect life, and then not to take it. So that if that means doing what you got to do to make sure that they don't kill any more folks, then fine. But at the same time, you got to find more ways, more smart, problem solving folks. And this is where I'm talking about education. You got to be more of a problem solver to solve that. How can I contain this person without actually killing him? Because that's what jail's for. That's for rehabilitation for. Because there's a lot of people in jail that killed a lot of people before, and they still alive. Again, we come back down saying we as human beings aren't made to take life. I mean, that's God's job, not us. We're not the one that's supposed to be judging to take someone's life. That's not our job. But we need to contain as much as we can to protect life. I mean, that's just my opinion. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're not smart, or that. Again, I will take back on all I said. If people misled it, I said that high school folks are not smart because they didn't go to college. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you need to be more educated in your job to do it right. And if you just finished college, if you just finished high school, that means you're not. You got to go in whatever job you need to do. You need to be more educated in that job, and to be more educated, you just need to be, going through more school. May that be what I'm saying? It might be more training into the police department to get that more schooling. I'm not saying you have to go to college to get to, to become a police officer. I'm just saying that there needs to be more training, more education in the police department to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen ever again. And I guarantee you that they do train in the police department. Is that the number one thing was police safety. That's what I remember when I was trained. You protect life first. You gotta protect yourself first. It's what I was taught. I don't know if that's still true or not, but that's what I remember. And yes, I get that. You got to protect yourself so you can protect others. But I think it's very strong. Guns are made is to protect life, not take life. I mean, that just needs to be a model. But again, it's almost like getting into politics, and we know we said we're not going to get into top politics. But, I just felt really bad when I saw that. I mean, the first, I wanted to, again, I was telling you, I wanted to do a video before that if that person was actually the shooter or not. I had a feeling it was not, because he was shot on the spot before anything happened. And that's the thing I really wanted to talk about was, you really shouldn't shoot somebody right on spot without seeing and having a little bit of evidence and having at least 80 to 9% sure of yourself that that person is a victim. Did I say victim? Not victim. What's the word, Wasi? A villain?
Suspect.
The suspect, that's right. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be 80 to 90% sure that person is a suspect or not before you just start coming out and shooting. I mean, yeah, you see a gun. Yeah, but you can actually think there's also a lot of people in there guns, so that means you got to start thinking of more problem solving right there. And said, well, there could be people that still carry guns around here just because they saw a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably only 50-50 still. I'll give it 55. That's not strong enough to actually say this person is a shooter. Now, if you saw him take a gun and actually shoot somebody, yeah, that's probably almost 80 to 90% right there. Or if he held somebody in the arm, like he's about to shoot him, that's probably 60 or 70%. But you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just, I don't know. It's just processing and dealing with it. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's all politics. Again, we said we're not going to get into it. But, I don't know, kind of grind my gears.
Yeah. And this won't be the last time. I can guarantee that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's already happened. I don't know how many times. But, I don't know. What else you got? Let's get off politics. Do something fun. Let's talk about something fun.
Let me see. I don't know, man. Talked about Winnie the Pooh. We talked about Cinnamon. I mean,
Winnie Pooh was kind of funny.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that's like somewhat that after I talk it like that, something that I can actually like think of.
Well, let's
like,
put it this way. Let me put it this way then. My wife just gave birth, and it's my first baby. You know, you hear about like the women go through a lot of pain. I'm just gonna tell you right now. You better love your mom. That pain that she goes through is not just like what you think about. Like you think, oh yeah, it's really hard pain, and it really hurts. I get that. It does. We all know it hurts, but I'll tell you, it hurts a lot more than you think. There's a level of pain. I mean, like when you're actually getting your first contract, like my wife, she got her contract, and throughout the pregnancy, she was fine until at the end, and she'll start hurting, and we would wait because usually when you start getting contraction is when it's the pain in their stomach that helps the baby helps the mother push out the baby, and opens up the where she can get dilated, where that makes room for the baby to come out. And I'm getting a little graphic here, but so when that contraction happens, it starts to hurt really bad. So every 45 seconds they'll last for 45 seconds, and every minute or so is what you want to wait for, and that's what we were waiting for. When it would repeat after a minute or two, and even then she started, that's where she was already hurting, but she could handle it. And now it starts in 1 to 2 minutes, and it started hitting that contraction. She started hurting really bad. I mean, she couldn't handle it anymore. Like she was dying hurting. I mean, when we went, the doctor said, what's your pain rate, 1 to 10, 10 being the worst? And she's like, oh, it's a 10-10, yeah. And then they give you this little thing that they teach you that they can tell that when the contraction comes and how big of the contraction is and how painful it probably is, how big it is. Dude, when it actually started coming in like an hour or 2 hours later, we were in the hospital for about 12 hours. And the contraction, I saw the little contraction. That's the one that was 1 to 2 minutes apart. And when she was already saying it's a 10 of pain, an hour later, it started that mark of showing how painful it already went up like half more, like a double in size. And she took, a lot of people, we wanted to do natural, but I knew she couldn't handle it, so she was going to get epidural, or that, to make sure that you don't feel the pain anymore. When she actually did that, I'm glad she did, because then I saw when it actually started, when we were about to go in labor, the pain level went off the charts. Like, it tripled in size. Like, I don't even know how she would be able to handle it. And sometimes it lasts more than 4 minutes. The pain level.
Oof.
I mean, again, I'm not an expert. I just did from my experience here. She was giving birth, and I felt like I felt the whole thing. I didn't leave her side for the whole 12 hours until she gave, from when she got in the hospital and then left. And when our baby came, I didn't leave until we actually left the hospital. I never left her side, but when she was leaving the baby, I mean, I felt like I was the one that felt the pain too. Like I literally felt like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything. It got to the point where I was so scared for her. I actually looked, and I was scared looking, because you have to help them push and that kind of deal. And if you're not looking, tell them, hey, push, then you're almost there, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And Dan, I'm just gonna tell you, I wanted more babies. But if she doesn't feel like she wants to have any more, I'm fine with it, because I don't know if I can even go through any more than I've seen her go through any more of it. But then you gotta respect the moms. I mean, you really need to go back and just like, I wanted to come and call my mom and like give her a hug for what she went through with me. I'm just telling guys, like, you hear it, all that stuff, you don't actually feel it or see it until you actually was there.
Yeah.
Then all you can do is give your wife and your kid even more love. I mean, I couldn't think of how much more love I can actually give them until you actually feel it.
Yeah.
Like you can hear it, you see you can hear my story and everything, and you understand somewhat, but you really do not understand it until you actually felt it. Because I was just like you, I would imagine, yeah, I get it, but and when I actually saw it and felt it, and actually went through the whole experience myself, I'm like, no, I really didn't get it. There was a lot of details in there and a lot of pain that they're going through. I'm talking about pain.
Yeah.
Dude, they'd stitch her up, and oh my gosh, it took so forever. Oh my gosh, I'm just saying.
Wow.
I saw the whole thing, blood gush out. I saw everything.
Wow. You managed to talk about death and life and made them both sound so bad. So congratulations on that.
But at the same time, it's like, it's not bad. I'm just saying that it is for the wife. I'm just saying that you need to precious that. I mean, what made it all felt better was that she was born, and to see her come out, everybody cried and loved on her, and it made the mother feel a lot better when she actually did come out. I mean, you're losing about 7 to 8 pounds of 5 or 6 pounds of water, and then she lost a bunch of blood, and then the baby was about 7 pounds. So she felt a lot better when it came out, and hugging on the baby and stuff, it made it even feel even better. So I'm just saying that was just a blessing. She was born a day before Thanksgiving, so it's gonna be a Thanksgiving baby next year.
Yep.
And yeah, we're really thankful for it. I'm just saying, like, you guys gotta really appreciate mothers. It should be Mother's Day every day. Every single day. Because if it wasn't for mothers, we're not here. Now, you gotta give props for dad too. I'm not saying this for prop for me. I'm just saying, like, I went through the whole thing. Dad's is not easy either. I mean, I felt like I felt everything she felt. Now, I know it's not even nearly compared to it. I'm just saying, even with that, I couldn't even handle it. So just imagine if you were actually one giving birth. Oh my gosh. But love on your mothers. I guess that. But I'm gonna say is, like, when she was born, you can imagine. You imagine how you love your partner, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. But you just love the love when she actually gives birth. It's just like magnified by 1,000. Like, you love her even more because she went through all that pain, and then you love your kid, your child, to a point where it's like, I never thought I could love somebody like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's kind of like, you just came in the world, and I don't know why I love you so much. I mean, you really. I mean, it's funny. It's weird. I mean, I guess people don't really know until they actually have kids. I mean, and the people that actually have the kids know what I'm talking about. Like it's just a love that comes out of nowhere, and it overwhelms you. Like you know you can love your kid 100%, but you're talking about this is not just 100%. This is like 150 or 200%. Like you kind of lost everything. All your mind is on them at the moment, and you're just glad they're in this world. I mean, that's how it feels. And then like everything that you cared about before, you don't really care that much for it anymore. I mean, you still want it a part of your life, but you don't. Your baby's number one at that point again. And then you love your wife even more just because of the pain she went through. But why see I mean, I'm just saying, you remember this. This is recorded. Come back and listen to this later on when you actually have your first baby. I think I put why see this to tears. I can't even hear him anymore. Hey, you still there? Yo. Yo. Well, I think we lost YC. Well, hey guys. Anyways, terrible thing. Just conclude everything was pretty terrible for the shooting. I mean, again, this is just our opinion. Nothing really we can do about it. And I mean, I guess if you like it or not, everybody's got their own opinion, and everybody's got their own an asshole. And you saw mine with my opinion today. So, again, and respect your moms. I mean, respect her. I mean, I'm just saying, go give them a hug, a kiss, call them, I love you. They've been through a lot. Anyways, like, subscribe, listen to us again, and BC is out. Well, I guess YC is already out anyway. See y'all.